Good morning. Day 98 of hiking the Appalachian Trail in 100 days. Kind of in a little emerald tunnel right now. And today I'll be crossing through Neel Gap this afternoon, which I'm looking forward to. There's an outfitter there, and that outfitter is like 30 miles from the start of the trail, or the southern part of the trail, which is the start for a lot of Nobos. So they are in a prime location to basically sell hikers that are starting out gear when they realize after like 30 miles that what they have isn't working. And I know they do like pack shakedowns for free and basically like recommend better gear and stuff like that. So the cool thing about that store is there's a big tree, I think somewhere nearby, that hikers will throw their shoes up on when they quit. I guess that's like not a popular place to quit, but it's kind of like if you're gonna quit early on, you do it there and throw your shoes up in the tree. So there's supposedly a bunch of shoes dangling from the tree, so I'm looking forward to seeing that, and hopefully I'll get some ice cream or snacks at that store. And then right after that store, I have to climb up Blood Mountain, which I heard is one of the tougher climbs in Georgia for a SOBO. So we'll see how that goes. The one guy at the campsite last night was like making it sound like he wasn't sure if I could finish in 3 days these last 50 miles because this trail is pretty tough. But I'm not trying to be mean to him, but I think his fitness and familiarity with backpacking and hiking is a little bit different than mine, so I'm not really too worried. I mean, maybe there'll be some tough climbs, but I'm confident I can get through them and do 50 miles in 3 days, because I've pretty much, for the most part, done more than 50 miles in most 3-day stretches on this trip through pretty much all terrains. It's a little bit after 11 o'clock now, and I have just under 7 miles left to Neel Gap, and should be there before 2 o'clock. So looking forward to that. And so far today, the first like 2 miles were a little bit rockier, so that combined with that they were the first miles of the day, which are usually slower for me, slowed me down a little bit. But since then, the trail has been pretty smooth, and honestly kind of flat, not too much up and down, but not really any views. Definitely a little bit of up right now, but I don't think it's supposed to last too long. So enjoying the day. Met a group of day hikers that were enthused about my SOBO journey and closeness to the finish, basically. So talked to them a little bit. And one lady in that group was probably in her 70s now. Thru hiked in 2000. I wasn't sure if she thru hiked or section hiked over a number of years, but because she said she finished in 2000, so that sort of led me to believe she section hiked over some number of years, but not really sure. But that was cool to meet her and talk to her for a minute. Finally, a little bit of a view here through the trees. You can see off quite far into the distance actually, which is neat, and see some mountains out there for sure. Finally, a little bit of a better view here today. It's a little bit after 1 o'clock now, and have just about a mile left downhill to Neel Gap. So definitely hoping that they have some ice cream there that I can get and build the streak to 3 days. And I'm pretty sure there's a town I can get into tomorrow. It's only like 2 miles off the trail, so I should be able to get some ice cream tomorrow, and then hopefully I can get some on day 100 as well, and end the trip with a 5-day ice cream streak, which is my goal at this point. Made it to Neel Gap, and here is the tree with all the shoes all the way up, all around. That's pretty crazy actually. And there's a outfitter store right here. So unfortunately they didn't have any actual ice cream, so I just got one of the freeze-dried ice cream sandwiches, and I'm gonna eat that to keep the ice cream streak alive. And also got a little burger that was frozen and heated up in the microwave, and ate that, and that was surprisingly good. But just sitting under the shoe tree here, eating some snacks and getting ready to go the last few miles up Blood Mountain. So I'm about 2/3 of the way up Blood Mountain, and it honestly hasn't been super bad. The first like mile-ish wasn't too steep at all, and then there was a section with a bunch of stone steps, and then a section with a little bit of like rock scramble type stuff. But this section right here is kind of flat and actually going down a tiny bit, and then the last like half mile it goes back up, and I think that part's probably fairly steep, but we'll see. So far it seems like people I talked to were like overhyping the difficulty, because it's not like all that much more difficult than other mountains I've climbed in Georgia in the last 100 or 200 miles really. But it is more difficult than most probably, I guess. Almost at the top of Blood Mountain here, and there's a nice view. I don't think there's a view at the very top, but this is probably one of the best views of Georgia so far. So I heard, at least some people have told me the views weren't great in Georgia, but this one's pretty good so far, so happy about that. Another nice view here. Lots of mountains out there. But yeah, honestly, hasn't been super bad. And it'll be, well, I guess it'll be about an hour total for the 2.4 miles from Neel Gap to the top, but I did stop for probably 5 minutes to talk to a few guys. Two of them that were in their probably early 60s said they tried hiking the trail in the 80s, but after like 2 weeks they got sick up near Nantahala Outdoor Center, I think, somewhere in that region. So they just got off the trail and never did it again. But that was kind of neat to hear. in the tent for the night, and just before I got to the shelter, actually it wasn't even on the AT, it was on the spur trail leading to the shelter. Got stung again by a yellow jacket, so Georgia is certainly turning out to be a little bit more hostile in terms of the bee situation, but it's just a yellow jacket, so it wasn't super bad, and it doesn't really hurt all that much anymore. Just had a little bit more than a mile down the mountain a little bit once I got over Blood Mountain, and I'm staying at the Woods Hole shelter tonight, which is about a 0.4 miles off the AT, but honestly not really worried about that little bit extra bit. It took 5-10 minutes to get here from the AT, so not a big deal. But total mileage today was 22.6 miles, and I'm at mile 2,169.7. So I have just under 28 miles left for the whole AT, and I have 2 days to do that. So tomorrow is going to be about 20 miles, and then the last day, day 100, will be just under 8 miles. But I will have the 8.5 or 9 miles as well on the last day to go down to the Amacola Falls Visitor Center. So the last day is really like close to 16 miles total, even though it's only like 7.5, 8 miles on the AT. But I did get the ice cream sandwich today, so at a 3-day ice cream streak right now, and planning to go into a little town tomorrow to get some ice cream to extend that to 4 days.